if I'm not wrong, you met the Prime Minister?
I did.
How was the meeting?
It was a personal and private meeting, it was not for any particular purpose as such. See, one thing is, country is foremost in his mind, which I'm very happy with. Another thing is, very hardworking, good. Will he do all the right things? Maybe not, but he wants to do the right things, that itself is a good thing. Another thing is, this is a nation that you can't just by changing a policy. You have to make everything into an emotional movement, otherwise in this country nothing will change. And this is a man who is capable of creating that emotional movement in the nation. And he's changed the perception of India big time in the world. Big time means I'm traveling all over the world. Wherever I go, unknown people come up to me and say, "What do you think about your Prime Minister? Oh, he's a world leader." These things I've never heard. India means…
This is after Narendra Modi becoming the
Yes,
Prime
in the
Minister.
last 6-7 months, it's such a big movement in the world. You know, I happened to meet about… it was Robert Kennedy's 25th anniversary, I was there. There were 42 Democratic senators in United States. You won't believe, without exception, each one of them coming up to me and saying, "He's a world leader, you got a great leader going for India." When the whole world is excited, I think as Indians, we must stand up and see what we can do. It is not about him, it's not about their party, it's about the country and the people who have not eaten properly for generations. Is there no concern at all?
Tell me one thing, did you discuss yoga with him?
Sort of, because he himself practices a little bit.
What sort of yoga does he practice? Did you get an idea?
He's doing
Because what we see is a couple of photographs and that's about it.
He's doing some simple yoga which keeps him fit and kept him alert. It has both physiologically and psychologically done things for him, so he's sticking to it.
So, did the International Yoga Day, did it come up in your conversation with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Not really, no.
So what was the meeting about? Because it was tweeted.
I told you it was a personal
Officially.
meeting, I never thought it has to be publicized, but he put it on the tweet, so I had to respond, otherwise I would have never talked about it.
But a lot of people say that, he's trying to build…
My
trying to
concern…
pull in a lot of people who have a lot of repute in the world of yoga.
My concern of me wanting to meet him or me meeting him is not about yoga, is about the nation and variety of situations which we can fix and not been fixed for ages. For 6 decades, we have not fixed simple situations that we can easily fix. It doesn't take extra resources, it just takes little extra care. So those are the situations I wanted to bring into his notice, and it was amazing to see that he at least has thought about these things and looking for a solution and how to implement those solutions, which was good.
What part of his conversation with you impressed?
One thing
Impressed
is…
you or was impressive?
One
stuck with you?
One thing that's most impressive about him is carrying the responsibility of a complex nation like India. In personal interactions, he's a very joyful person, very sharp intellect and a large heart, which is impressive.
So my question is actually on Bharat, since the government there is going to be changing pretty soon, and I wanted to find out, Hinduism concentrates a lot about inner transformation, but I see a lot of lack of, a social consciousness and service, or as you term, going out and having a sense that, this is my country. What do you see needs change in India?
Why do you think it's lacking?
Sorry?
Why do you think it's lacking?
I think because from early on, from ages…
No, not… why do you come to this conclusion that it's lacking?
I see it.
No, it's not true. You were looking at it from a… you're trying to put a template, a Western template on India, which we're very proud that we are like a cosmic chaos. You understand? We feel homesick if there's too much order. Do not misunderstand that as lack of, passion for what it is. There's enormous passion. You should see. You just see, there is no other nation where such a large democratic exercise happens the way it happens in India. No other country on the planet can fulfill that, believe me. You should see how it happens. Even the poorest, in the remotest possibility where there's no road or electricity, even there he gets to vote, okay? It's a big thing. Anyway, what is the possibility? The next 5 years, if will be scintillating for India, probably 10 years. So, big changes are going to happen for sure, because what has been lacking for India is, an Indian has never been the leader of the country. When I say this, I'm saying our education systems in India have been such, once we get English educated, our brains are in Greenwich Mean Time. Yes. So, there has not been a leadership who understands people the way they are. Somebody who will not ask Indian people to fit into another format which is not theirs. They made ordinary people feel ashamed just because they don't know how to speak English. They can speak their mother tongues fluently, but people are ashamed that they can't speak English. When you… see, nation is just an idea, let's understand this. It's not some God-given thing, it's just an idea. If you invest certain passion in this idea, nation becomes strong. When you're ashamed of being who you are, how will there be passion about it? For the first time, we are having a leadership which is passionate about who we are, okay? This is very important. This is over a 10,000–12,000-year-old culture which is so complex that you cannot put it into simple logical analysis that you normally put other societies into, because it is too complex and it's too multi-dimensional, multi-ethnical, everything multi, okay? It needs a very organic leadership, not a synthetic leadership which drops there because somebody is somebody's son or daughter, okay? That's what has happened in the last 30 years.
Next question.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm wondering of other ways that you would suggest of turning that and walking the 4 miles instead of the 24,000 miles. You mentioned perhaps finding a guru was one way, so that was one question. And also, how does one find a guru here in the United States? Thank you.
Now, you must understand the basic human predicament. All that you experience, light and darkness, pain and pleasure, agony and ecstasy, whatever, everything that you experience happens within you. Is that so? Do you see me right now? Do you see me right now? Where am I? Use your hands and point out. Ah, you got me all wrong. You know, I'm a mystic. Now this light is falling upon me, reflecting, going through your lenses, inverted image in the retina. Where do you see me now? Within yourself. Where do you hear me right now? Within yourself. Where have you seen the whole world? Within yourself. Have you ever experienced anything outside of yourself? Your entire experience of life happens only within you. So what is happening within you, to make it happen the way you want it, is not something that's beyond you. It is just that right now all the 5 sense organs, the 5 faculties of perception are all outward bound. If I do this, you can hear this, but so much activity in the body, you cannot hear this. If an ant crawls upon your hand, you can feel it. So much blood flowing, you cannot feel it. In the very nature of things, sense organs are outward bound because they're instruments of survival. But the seat of your experience is within you. This is your fundamental predicament. You need a sense which can turn inward. If you have excess to the basis of your experience, would you create highest level of pleasantness for yourself or misery? Definitely highest level of pleasantness, isn't it? The problem is not of intent, the problem is of excess. So, do you need some guidance on this? For sure you do. So don't use the word guru, because it's supposed to be a four-letter word in California. It has all kinds of wrong connotations.
Is it GPS?
Yeah, GPS. Right now, if you buy the GPS, you buy from the best company, yes, whichever is working well. The same thing you must do. You must ask the maximum number of people. If it's working well for all of them, you can do it too. And anyway, if you buy a GPS, you're not committed to it for life. If it works, you keep it, otherwise you throw it. Same thing with me. I'll give you something, if it works, you keep it, otherwise throw it, what's the problem? You're paying more to buy a pair of shoes, she's asking $100,000 an hour, no? I'm just asking for the costs of the hall and the microphone and the stuff, okay? Because I have produced a huge mass of slaves who are willing to work 7 days of the week, 365 days to provide this for you. You understand? Do not waste their lives, make it happen for yourself.
Thank you, Jim, for all these amazing conversations and for all of us, many of the people here who make CCAR possible. So, with that, I would like to ask my usual question. Sadhguruji.
Oh, why don't you shoot at him?
Oh, he always answers the same way. So, Sadhguruji, would you like a hug?
I'm sorry?
Would you like a hug?
From you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if he gets a hug, I get a hug. Now this Ahmed's not here yet, okay? Ahmed's coming. Yes.
I have a lot more to offer than just a hug, but if that's all you want, I am okay.
Thank you.
With all due respect, I would like to say this, please.
Wait, but my hug.
The spiritual moments in the world have always, when they always started as a possibility, an ultimate solution to life. But slowly, we're kind of making it like it is just for solace, for those who are in some kind of distress or discomfort, offering solace. Solace is fine when people are suffering, but for those who are standing on their feet, they need a solution. It's very, very important that you identify spiritual process as a solution, not just a means of comfort and solace. Thank you very much for being here. If I'm too abrasive for you, I'm sorry for that too.
If I'm too aggressive for you.